From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work. We will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims. I don't know where my Mississippi one is. I guess we'll use this one. Missing in action. It's nice to see everybody. We are discussing the case of Sebastian Rogers. He's a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, where he was allegedly reporting with his mother. And Chris Proudfoot, right over here, was allegedly in Memphis, Tennessee. But before we get started on all of this, I wanted to go over a few things. This is Alex Murda. Alec Murda is a case that I've been covering from the beginning. I was out at his house. I got to see behind the gates. I was there for his double homicide court hearing. I went to the auction. I was there live at the auction. A lot of different things. And I was there when he went to court for his financial crimes. Also, the clerk, Becky Hill. I was there for the court hearing in front of Judge Toll as well. And apparently, according to everything that we are learning, it sounds like his plea deal that basically barred him from appealing is now appealing the sentencing, saying it's cruel and unusual punishment. I don't know what is going to be going on with Alec Murda, but I'm almost confident that this is not going to go through, much like the overturning of his conviction on the double homicide charges and court hearing related to his his wife and his son. So, this is just something that we need to look at. Again, even with plea deals where you're not allowed to appeal, there's still always an avenue for appeal. In my community, I don't know if you guys seen this, in my community, we have been under flooding from this Debbie hurricane that hit Florida. And it's hit Florida and it went up through Georgia. It's probably back down to, just a severe thunderstorm basically by now with all the land that it had to go over. But we're still reeling from a lot of water damage in and around the Manatee County and Bradenton area this morning as people are preparing and trying to get their stuff taken care of. This is for Gwinnett, Georgia. If I have people here that are from Gwinnett, Georgia, if you guys were expecting some packages, it might be possible that the local man, the local USPS, your United States Postal Service, the person that puts your mail in your mailbox, may have stolen your mail, may have stolen your items, may have stolen your products that you are getting from Amazon or friends. It is a little crazy. He was caught. Again, the mailman used illegal substances in work vehicles, stole mail, and dumped it in the woods. So if you're in Gwinnett County and you did not receive your packages in the regular, standard, old-fashioned mail, you might want to reach out to the USPS and find out if you were a victim of this mailman. I have no earthly idea. I can only tell you what I know. This is a boy that people are a little concerned. This is just breaking over the last few hours. This boy is from Arizona. He was, this is Jarrett Brooks. He was homeschooled, but he was a normal, like a normal, typical teenager. And apparently he got into some trouble for taking the car off-roading, and he was grounded. And he asked his mom, is it okay? Is he grounded from everything or just the vehicle? And when she told him he was grounded, she got in the shower and he took off. According to the surveillance camera, this is the most alarming thing. He left with a pew-pew. So they have him putting a pew-pew from his parents' locked cabinet in his waistband before leaving the house, and he has not been seen since. So if I have family, coffee club family out there in Arizona, we are looking for this young 16-year-old boy. Again, Jarrett Brooks, just to give you an idea of who he is, right there, and he really does need to be brought home so we make sure that he's not going to do anything, stupid. But most stunning piece right here. Images was taken from the home security system near the family's safe, showed Jarrett placing a pew-pew into his waistband. So those are pretty much the information that we have. And of course I do these, creative and colorful thumbnails for my YouTube channel, but I usually cut them so that they are, we can see the whole thing, but apparently I have a knack of deleting them before I use them. Let me see if I can find, and I think that's the case with this one, because all of my stuff that I took pictures of, I think I've already deleted them. I have some, a few of them, like this one right here where you can see the whole thing. This is Sebastian Rogers. He's a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and has not been seen or heard from since. He was last seen in the home by his mother, Katie Proudfoot, and his stepfather, Christopher Proudfoot, allegedly was at a job in Memphis, Tennessee at the St. Jude's Hospital. He has not been seen or heard. He's not on any video cameras. He's not seen walking or leaving the house. He's not seen walking or leaving the community. He's not seen walking by his school. He's not seen walking on any traffic cameras. He's not seen on any store frontage CCTV cameras of any kind. He basically went to bed and he left. We've been trying to identify some bridges out in the area that would be primed for searching, and people have been very good about getting me those emails at bullhornbetty@gmail.com identifying these bridges. We did find out there's 390 bridges in Sumner County, so we're going to have to try to find a way to either section the county off and cover bridges in certain areas, or we're going to have to start identifying which bridges would be most would be the easiest, because you're not looking for bridges that have a lot of traffic on them. So if there's bridges that go over water that have a massive amount of traffic on them, then they're not going to be what we're looking for. We're looking for something that is quiet, something that is private, something that has limited, limited people going there, secluded. Those are the kinds of areas. So if you have any ideas about that, please let me know. I did go to Memphis. I have been to Memphis twice. I have been to Mississippi, the Horn Lake, Mississippi area. And it dawned on me, Chris hasn't been in that area long enough. I think he was only in that area maybe 2 months. And he hasn't been in that area long enough to get comfortable in moving around in that area. So that brings me kind of back to Sumner County and the I-40 corridor. I'm still not eager to leave the I-40 corridor just yet. But I do want to start focusing more heavily in the White House and Gallatin area of Sumner County in identifying these bridges and identifying the ones that would be secluded, the ones that a lot of people would not be going to in a private scene, in a, something that can be kind of, I've seen some people have been sending me some pedestrian bridges as well. Just something that would be secluded, that somebody can drive over or through or get close enough to that it wouldn't bring too much attention to themselves. That's what we're looking for. They're not wanting to bring attention to themselves at this time, at the time that Sebastian disappeared. So I'm just trying to find any information that'll help lead in a direction for a search here in the near future. We're going to be doing, I'm going to at least attempt to try to get some teams together for some additional water searches in areas that we do believe that it could be possible that Sebastian may be in. You guys all know that there is the parents, Chris and Katie. I shouldn't call them parents. Chris is the mother, the biological mother, and Chris is the stepfather of Sebastian Rogers. They've spent more time following me, tracking me, than they have doing anything for their own son, which has made a lot of people really question them even further. If it didn't stink to high heaven before I got involved in this case, it definitely stinks to high heaven now that I'm involved. These people are obviously concerned about what I'm doing and what I'm finding out in my work that I'm doing. I have not, I just want to make sure that this is for the record for everybody that's out there. I have not seen these people in the flesh. I've never been within 100 feet of these people in my life. I've never spoke to them. I've never talked to them. I've never reached out to them. And they're, like I said, they're trying to unlawfully shut my mouth. It has not worked. And as a matter of fact, every single person that's been following this case legitimately, not these hate channels that have their felons, helping other people of crime get away with whatever they're getting away and throwing all this stuff into an investigation that doesn't need to be there. Those hate channels are absolutely causing chaos in this case. They're absolutely causing law enforcement to change their focus from Sebastian and put it directly on me, and I haven't violated any laws. So if we want to know whether or not these hate channels are actually interfering with the investigation, let me be very clear. They are. So if you're supporting these channels, then you are part of the problem. There's no easy way to say it, okay? So if you support these channels that are causing this chaos in this case, that are literally causing law enforcement to go out of their way to change the focus away from Sebastian, you are part of the problem. Plain and simple. You have choices each and every day. You can either choose good or you can choose evil. And I see about 7,500 people in this small echo chamber that choose evil each and every day and choose to do evil and destructive things. We are not that channel. We are here to help. We are here to provide information. We're here to go out and advocate for this child, not just online, but in person. I went to, I don't know how many stores. I don't know how many people, additional people that did not know about this boy in Horn Lake, Mississippi, that now do know about this boy and now do know about his story and are going to be looking through past footage to help find any answers. And moreover, if they do find it, they're not going to be calling Bullhorn Betty. They're going to be calling TBI and the FBI to disclose this information to them. I don't want this information. All my job is to advocate for them, for Sebastian, and advocate for them to look through their footage, and if they see anything, to please call that in. That's all I can do, and that is exactly what I did. So it is of my belief that this child right here is not in the Mississippi area, is not in the Memphis, Tennessee area. We need to go back to stomping grounds where Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot feel the most comfortable, because at the end of the day, I truly believe they had to do something. They had to do something quickly, and their mind would have went straight to a place that they knew would have been secluded. Now, it doesn't even matter what your theory is, whether you think Sebastian is healthy or unhealthy, gravely unhealthy. Either way you look at it, we still believe that the parents have answers. And Chris has been caught lying, and Katie as well, has been caught lying over and over and over again. And we believed it, but we had no real evidence of it other than the Nina interview where she explained the dirty stuff that these people did about lying under oath and, illegally taking her child. And we're seeing that, yes, that they have no problem, because just recently, Katie, as well as the Bowersox, all just lied under oath in the Hendersonville, Sumner County General Sessions Court when they erroneously got the this ex parte protective order. Now, the problem is they trusted a lot of people they probably shouldn't have trusted, and they were so ignorant because they know absolutely nothing about the law or service of process or how any of this work. They ended up letting the cat out of the bag because they thought I was served, and it caused all of this chaos. Well, we just had a hurricane hit Florida, which caused flooding, which made it next to impossible to get back home. Meanwhile, trying to say I'm avoiding service of process. I was in a different state when I found out about this. At the end of the day, they have the duty to get me served. Okay. There was a hurricane here. Not my problem. Okay. I have no problem. Everybody's like, oh, this looks really bad on Betty. How does it look bad on me? It makes them have to go to court and explain themselves. They can serve me anytime that they want to. They chose to do it this way. They chose to do this sneak blitz attack to try to catch me off guard, to control my calendar. And, it was a distraction to take the focus away from this boy, and we will not allow that to happen. So what we're doing now is I'm getting my team as well as my audience. Oh, hey, Karen, it's nice to see you. Focus back on this case, and we need to identify all of the 300 and some odd bridges, 390, 80, whatever I said at the beginning of this, bridges that we need to identify and pay close attention to. Are they bridges that are conducive for this, my theory? And you guys understand what my theory is. It's not a state secret. So apply my theory to this case and look for some bridges. And if you find something that matches this criteria, please send it to me, because I am making a list. I am going to be back out there. I'm going to try to find some or a couple of teams, of people in the water looking for this child, because there's, again, over 300 bridges that need to be checked, and they need to be thoroughly checked, because I've talked to military, and some of the stuff that they told me, it worries me very, very, very much so. Okay. I'm not going to go into it on this platform or any other platform, but you guys have to know that it did kind of shake me to my core a little bit. I'm very appreciative for the people that were blunt and honest with me, but at the end of the day, it makes me even more and more concerned for Sebastian's well-being. So we're definitely going to be looking at these bridges, and I'm definitely moving away from the Memphis area and more focused in that immediate Sumner County area. Now, the I-40 corridor, we still need to look at, is there any places that he can go off that goes over water? Is there any big bodies of water that just kind of come off the ramp on one of those roads? Because I can tell you some of those areas aren't traveled very heavily by any cars. It is the I-40 corridor, but some of those aren't very busy. They're very secluded and desolate on certain sections of roadway. So, if anybody can help me with that, that would be absolutely great. But again, I went to the Hendersonville area first. Then we went over to White House and Gallatin. I got a lot of hits over there. And then I made my way to Memphis. Didn't get as much hits, but was able to talk to some of the people that worked on the construction site. And was able to get some information from them. And then this last trip was basically Mississippi, because there is a jurisdictional issue between Mississippi and Tennessee, and I was thinking maybe it's possible that Mississippi may have some additional information. And quite frankly, outside of one gas station, nobody really recognized Chris Proudfoot in the area of Yogi Bear. But then I learned that at the time Sebastian was missing, he was potentially at another park, and it was some type of something easy park. And so I didn't go there. So my next trip back to Mississippi, I will go there and see and look at that particular area and see if there's any stores around that area that would be willing to speak to me, or if they identify either Sebastian, Katie, Chris, anybody, just to kind of give me a pulse as to whether he was active in that community or not. But it doesn't sound like he really was. Which kind of solidifies my situation. We've heard a lot that he was having an affair there in Memphis and Mississippi, but I don't believe that to be true, to be honest with you. I told you guys that earlier on, but even when I went there to visit, I don't believe that is the case with Chris. Yes, Chris has had a very horrible record in his past with other women, being, a ladies' man, so to speak, after being married. But we know he only really got married to all the women that he got married to for better housing, for better living on the base. I mean, that's the kind of man this man is, He's all about himself and what can benefit him. That's probably why he hasn't filed anything, because it doesn't benefit him and it'll actually hurt him in his custody case with Faith. I think this whole situation is going to hurt him with his custody case with Faith, because he's basically saying that his whole family's in danger, right? Who would want to bring a 6-year-old child around that? So hopefully Nina, uses this, and hopefully she tells her attorney about it and gets her daughter Faith protected. Rosebud says there's 412 bridges. You can see under bridges if the water is low, and if the water's high, you will not see him. Yeah, I know. That's why I need gear. I need people there with gear, because those things have got to be personally checked, because of the way military told me that his condition might be. It's not something where we may not be looking for a bag. We may be looking for some other type of things. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that. What about the Adventures with Purpose? Yeah, I think that they might be willing to help, but here's the issue. They usually help with when people are missing with their vehicles. That's how they kind of, do their stuff. I don't know how they handle stuff with a missing person. It's a little bit harder to do, because we have the experience from Audrey Cunningham, and the stuff that she went through, and how Stephen McDougal handled that situation. It does give us pause, it does give us some concern, but we know that it happens, and we definitely need to be looking at that. And I still hope that, the Proudfoots are under intense investigation, and I hope that they're under surveillance, and I hope it's making it very difficult for them to move around without being followed by law enforcement. I don't know if that's the case, but you see Seth trying his hardest to help and try to find his son. And every time we turn around, he's coming up empty, which is a good thing in his mind, because where he's looking is not a good place for Sebastian, So every time he doesn't find him, in his mind, that's a win in his column, that he can bring his son home, and he can bring his son home alive. And that's really what we want. We want Sebastian healthy. It's just that, a lot of us, especially me, I deal with statistics. And the statistics are not good and not in Sebastian's favor. But they also weren't in Charlotte Senna's favor either. And she made it back home to her family a lot sooner than 6 months. But it just gives us a little layer of hope. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to tell you good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I will be back soon. But this is our update for all of the interesting cases that I found this morning. So you guys have an amazing day. God bless each and every one of you. Keep rocking it out with your coffee beans out. If you have any perspectives, you guys know I'm looking at bridges. So anything that can help aid in that search and trying to identify good bridges to search, I'd really greatly appreciate it. Don't forget, my email is bullhornbetty@gmail.com. God bless.